I want to talk about habitat and niches. Habitat describes the location where an animal can live. So for brown bear, also known as grizzly bears in the US, they can live in a really wide range of habitats. They can live in dense forests or subalpine meadows or open plains or Arctic tundra. We say, and so rather than habitat being a specific location, like they live in Canada, it describes the area that they live. If you're interested, the dark green is where grizzly bears are currently found. The light green is historically where they were found. They tend to be hunted out because there's kind of the same reason that ranchers don't like wolves. They prey upon livestock. Okay, a niche, however, describes a lot more about the conditions in which an animal can live. We'll give you the definition in the document. I'm going to give you an example here of a simulation that shows barnacles, two different kinds. It's hard for me to pronounce their names, the orange ones and the white ones, colonizing an area of rock. This area of rock is in the intertidal zone between where the low tide of the ocean is and the high tide of the ocean. You can see we get small white and orange barnacles colonizing this over time. Their larvae come in and latch onto the rock and then grow. The snails that need to stay underwater feed on barnacles. And so you can see that they don't grow too low because the snail can take over and eat them. So both the orange barnacles and the white barnacles prefer to get a fair amount of water. You can see when they're underwater, their mouth is open, and then when they're out of water, it closes so that they can avoid drying out. I'm going to speed up the simulation a little bit. There's 2 cycles of tide per day. So over time, we start seeing that primarily the orange ones are in this zone between low tide and mean. And the white ones, relatively speaking, are more above the mean tide line between there and high tide. The white ones would love to live from here to here. We call that their fundamental niche, where they're really well adapted to live. But they get outcompeted by the orange ones in this zone. So as a result, the white ones end up with this being where they actually live, which is known as their fundamental niche. For the orange ones, which outcompete, this is their realized niche. They'd probably like to live down here too, but they get eaten by the snails. So let's draw this out a little bit on this slide. So for the orange snails, the fundamental niche was this wide range, everywhere it could live. But what we ended up with as the realized niche is the location it was capable of actually living. So realized didn't quite attain its goals, and it can't live in this whole wide range that it would like to live in. And so that works for the white barnacle. For the orange barnacle. The orange one was capable of living from the mean low tide down, but where we had that low tide line, up to there, the snails were eating it. So its realized niche ends up being this, where its fundamental is that. You'll see the definitions of niche, fundamental niche, and realized niche on the document.